The main thing to remember when speaking to somebody with dementia is really that they are still the individual that you know. I've had many conversations with people who have a dementia diagnosis, and the one thing that I always remember is a gentleman once told me, I am still the person living with the disease. Sometimes we get nervous that we're going to say the wrong thing, or they might say the wrong thing, and then what is my response going to be? A lot of it is just coming down to saying, hey, this is still my neighbor, this is still my mother, this is still my uncle, or whoever it may be. Just remembering that they're still the individual and having the opportunity to be relaxed in front of them can be very helpful. It's really important to understand that your mood, your body language, the vibe that you're giving off to somebody with a dementia diagnosis is much greater than the content of the words that you are using. And so if you're preoccupied or thinking about something in the future or a little upset about something, they're going to pick up on those feelings that you're exhibiting to them. They can sense what's happening. And so we often say, especially for a caregiver, it's really important to pause yourself to be ready to interact with somebody with a dementia diagnosis, to say, I'm fully going to be in the present. I'm just going to be here and I'm going to enjoy this moment. I can't control what's going to happen in the future, so let me just stay here with this individual. Sometimes we get hung up on the facts. And when we're involving an individual with a dementia diagnosis, sometimes it's important to let some of those facts go. It may not be important if you're just asking, when did this happen? You know, the date is not really the important fact. And so if they say the wrong date, don't correct them. Just move on and get to the actual memory that you're trying to bring up. It's really important to understand how comfortable that person feels. And so if in the past they really wanted to snuggle up and be close, that's probably something that is going to remain. If they prefer to be more independent and want their space, then you want to make sure that you provide that space. And so it's just really important to have an idea of what they would want in order to be as comfortable as possible. Sometimes people can get really rattled when asked a ton of questions over and over, or especially if you're changing the topics. It's really important to offer choices to somebody, especially if you think that they're having problems or if they need a little bit more help. Sometimes open-ended questions can be really helpful, but if you want a specific item from them or a specific decision, it's really good to ask either or questions. Would you like the red coat or the green coat? Would you like to leave now or would you like to leave in 10 minutes? Giving them the opportunity for independence and to make some of those choices can help them feel part of the conversation as well as being active in your relationship. Reminiscing is so good to have and begin with anybody who has a dementia diagnosis. I often call it being the memory maker. If we talk about a story that has happened in the past, it's really good to give them time to think about it and to set them up for success. And so if I want to talk to my dad about his car when he was 16, I'm not going to simply say, Dad, what was your first car when you turned 16? I'm actually going to say, Dad, I remember a picture of you when you were 16 and you were sitting next to your first car, that 1934 Plymouth. You bought it for $16. I remember you telling me about that story, Dad. What other stories do you have about your car? What are your favorite memories when driving that car? Prompting them with the story allows them more time to start thinking about that and possibly drawing those memories out to have a conversation with them. So it's really important when you're reminiscing is to set them up for success, but then also to pause and let them think of that memory in order to start talking about it.